I'm Brooke Langston. I'm the Center Director of the Richardson Bay Audubon Center and Sanctuary, which is where we are today. And we have this fabulous view of San Francisco behind us. And I have the honor of talking with Richard Louv, who is now a world-famous author of a recently amazingly popular book entitled The Last Child in the Woods, discussing nature deficit disorder. And Richard, it's wonderful to have you here today.
Well, thanks.
I'm wondering how much you know about Audubon before we were contacted about this event and this medal.
I've learned a lot about Audubon over the last couple of years since the book came out, and I've learned how important they've been. Long before the book came out, they were onto this issue. Well, I think that so much of what the nature centers are doing and what Audubon has been doing is, it is about the health of kids, and increasingly this is being seen not only as an environmental issue but as a health issue, because
absolutely
the science shows that kids who play outdoors more, in nature in particular, are healthier and happier and smarter. That they get better test scores in the schools that emphasize this. Their attention span is lengthened by more experience in nature. The symptoms of attention deficit disorder, according to the University of Illinois, get better for many kids when they spend more time out in nature. Just in terms of child obesity, the people who study that have come to the conclusion that whatever we're doing, it's not working. Nature has not been in that conversation until quite recently. And just a few weeks ago, the American Public Health Association, their official publication, The Nation's Health, had a front page story on the Children in Nature movement. It was very, very positive. Now that's a big step with the American Public Health Association. Howard Frumkin, the head of the Environmental Health Center for the Centers for Disease Control in Atlanta, has been very emphatic recently. He and I co-authored an article recently in which he said, yes, we need more research on this, but we know enough to act. That this is extraordinarily important for kids' health. But ultimately, and this is why it's so important for Audubon to have taken this route, and again, they took this route long before this book came along. But what will happen if kids in the future don't have an intimate experience in nature? The studies show that almost to a person, conservationists had some transcended experience in nature when they were kids. What happens if that virtually ends? I was in Ukiah, California last year, up in the mountains, Spotted Owl Central. It's one of those towns where that's such a controversy. The teachers told me the same thing they tell me, even in rural areas like that around the country, which is kids aren't going outside anymore. Raises an interesting question. If that's happening, is the spotted owl the leading indicator species, or is it something else? So I think it's the human child in nature. Because if kids aren't going outside now and bonding with nature, who in the world is going to care about the spotted owl in 10, 15 years, or any other endangered species? The teachers who spend more time outside as part of their teaching day don't burn out as soon. But this is also good for the teachers themselves. This is an argument that I think could be taken to the teachers' unions. If you want to deal with burnout, get the kids outside, but get the teachers outside too. I mean, think about it. I mean, how many of us really want to spend all of our days in a cubicle?
Absolutely. My boss calls once a week, probably 3 times a week, and says, how's the bay? And I look out my window and say, God, it's beautiful out there. He said, what's the temperature of the water? And I go online and I tell him, oh, it's 17 degrees Celsius. And he says, how salty is it? And I say, and he says, what does it taste like? Have you tasted the bay today? Go outside. Stop writing your grants. What's in bloom on the backside of the hill? Tell me in 20 minutes. So it's sort of a cultural thing. It's nice that it's within Audubon that, even my boss who's worried about the bottom line. And there's probably other people who would like to chat with you.
Well, this has been great.
This is fun.